What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Busy Sticks, the Geekiverse's all video game podcast. We're in a different home today. We are with our, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to talk about this. So I'm not going to just yet. We're on Kind of Funny Games. John, Mr. Disruptoid, Mr. Baba Yaga, can you believe this is happening right now?
So I woke up today, a little early because I'm like, you know what? It's a special day, very special day. I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a coffee. Not going to throw the coffee pot on, treat myself to some Starbucks, as if I don't do that 3 to 5 times a week anyways. So I go there, get my coffee, come home. They made it perfect. It was perfect. I'm like, yes, this is great. All right, got some work to do. Got to get my job done. So I start working, and like maybe an hour and a half goes by. I'm like, man, should I go for a second coffee? That was awesome. Like, that was perfect. I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend the money, and I'm not going to make more coffee. I'll just drink water. I'm good to go. So hours go by. I'm cleaning the room up for this podcast. I grab my cup, and it's half full. That's how my day has been. That's how my brain has been today. I'm just buzzing on all cylinders. I'm doing half the tasks at work, switching to another one. I can't focus on anything. I'm so excited for this podcast, man.
So I'm Josiah Leroy. I can't even, again. So quick story. Well, the Geekiverse started 2014. Long time ago now. Holy shit. Anyway, as we started with written content, and then 2 years later we got into podcasts and videos. I'd never sat in front of a microphone before. I didn't know what I was doing. What did I do? I listened to IGN for ages. I listened to Colin, to Greg, to Damon Hatfield, you name it. And in the first day before we started recording, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like intro this and start this. What did I do? I was channeling Damon and one Greg Miller, as many people have done and probably have done today on the stream. So without further ado, it's my absolute pleasure and honor, and I can't believe, again, pinch me right now, we've got Greg Miller, the coolest guy in gaming. Greg, thank you so much for having us on today. It's been a long day for you. It's almost done, my friend. How have
fine,
you been?
Don't worry. This has been, first off, thank you, Joe and John, for having me. This is a fantastic thing, and I'm glad you're here to end the day with some energy. I love it. This has been awesome for me. I love this, especially when it's like I'm not producing the podcast. I just show up and talk. I can do 5 hours of that. Don't worry about that. You want to ask me about wrestling, games, whatever? Yeah, hell, let's go. It's no big deal.
That's what I thought was awesome. Was like we're the first gaming podcast. Like this is, knowing this audience, this is kind of surprising that we're talking games.
So behind the scenes, I'll tell you what I did is I was like, all right, cool, 10 podcasts. Let's go through. Obviously, I was looking for shows I hadn't been on before. I was looking for diverse content, and I wanted, people who were doing, not just saying like, hey, it's the Gamescast again, or hey, there was a lot of we're pretty much the Gamescast. Hey, we're pretty much a Kind of Funny podcast. And I was like, okay, cool. So let's get stuff that like had specific questions. Like I liked your specific one, even if we don't get to it. But I like that idea of like coming with an angle, right? And so I went through and did it. And I picked 5 games shows and 5 non-game shows. And then what I did is I emailed everybody and said, hey, on this day, I'm going to open up the slots for you to go book. Go ahead and book. And I was like, clearly this will work itself out. Today, we got 4 non-game shows and 1 game show. Meaning they got 4 game shows and 1 non-game show in March. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I mean, you didn't just get 4 non-game shows. You got 4 completely different shows. So it was pretty cool. I mean, there was we talked Superman, wrestling. We talked movies with Matt and them, and now some games. So great spread today. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for being part of it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, man.
Circled on the calendar the second we knew this was happening. Super, super exciting. So real quick, the Geekiverse is pop culture. It's video gaming. We like a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Marvel. As you can see, John's Buffalo Marvel t-shirt. We're from Buffalo, New York. Ironically enough, I wore the Buffalo shirt under my work garb today. And John wanted to coordinate outfits so we weren't wearing the same t-shirt because it happens a lot. And sure enough, I was wearing that. But instead, I've got my God of War boy shirt on.
Question, Greg?
Yeah, can I buy the Buffalo shirt? Where can I get that? That's awesome.
So that's actually glad you asked that question because so this is from a local company here in Buffalo. It's called 26 Shirts. You have purchased from them before, actually.
The Wing People.
The Wing People, yes. So I don't know if you're familiar too much with their business model, but all their stuff is limited release. So everything they do is tied specific to a fundraising campaign.
Yep.
So it's gone, but we'll see what we can do because Del Reed, who is the one of the owners and operators of 26 Shirts, was very excited that you were coming on because we're good friends with them.
Nice.
He's been on a few podcasts with us. So we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, they've always been great. Like I think I ordered 3 Wing shirts 3 years in a row from them for some fundraising stuff. That's great. Okay.
So I saw Dell yesterday, and I was like, hey, you got to watch our stream tomorrow. This is a really big deal for us. And I was like, it's with Kind of Funny. And he goes, Game Over Greggy. I go, yeah. And he goes, He bought wing shirts from me.
Of course I did. It's that thing where if you make wiener dog content, chicken wing content, Ghostbuster Super, like somebody's gonna link me to you, and we'll get together.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just too perfect. So my quick anecdote on meeting Greg. So I was at E3 2017 with the Geekiverse, and Greg, going into the show, there was 3 of us there, and it was like, all right, guys, just dream scenario. If you can meet some people in the industry here, who would you want to meet? We all had our people. It was Bernie Burns, go down the list. For me, I was like, if I could meet some, I would love to see Phil Spencer and Greg Miller. So I'm in line for something. I get a phone call, and it's one of my guys, and he goes, hey, you're never going to believe who I just saw. I was like off to the side relaxing, and Phil Spencer comes over and shoots the breeze for 5 minutes. I was like, okay, great for you. I'm so upset for me. That's awesome. Not 10 minutes later, one of our other guys calls me, and I'm like, oh man, what's going on? He's like, you're not going to believe who I just was with. I was with Greg and Tim, and I'm like, what is going on right now? So I did get a chance to meet you right before you went live on stage. I want to say with the GameSpot stage. I was speechless, much as I was at the beginning of this episode here. And I was like, Greg, you're the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. And I kind of couldn't get there, and you leaned in for the hug, and you said, "Go get him, Tiger." And I was just like, "Dude, that's such a nice moment." Like
I know, I know what you're doing. It's the same thing. It's I know that was, I think, probably the start of that year where it was everyone at E3 and everyone at PAX East was like, "This is my first media badge. I've been listening to you since junior high." I'm like, fuck, come on, shit, it caught up to me.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Joe. Can you lower your game just a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah, a little pop. Joe's loud. It happens sometimes.
I'm very loud.
I hate a lot of people on podcasts. It's the worst.
Oh, yeah, can't imagine, right?
I'll hunch down a little bit. It'll take care of it. Yeah. So, John, you had a quick anecdote as well.
I do. That'll tie into my show and tell. So let's do our other segment first. We got segments here. This is structured,
right.
guys.
It's a real show, people. All right.
Yeah, come on. This is our first rodeo.
Busy Sticks. Find it on your podcast service of choice.
Even though Greg has been the fixation, he's just merely a guest. The show has to go on. I'm just kidding, man. So we like video games a lot, obviously, but we also like beer. So part of Busy Sticks is not just about what's in our system, meaning our Xbox, our PlayStation, our Nintendo, but what's about to be in our system. So
it's a beer drinking podcast?
Yeah,
podcast.
You got time, go for it. Yes. I said it could happen. I said it could happen. I'm so glad it did. We'll certainly wait for him to get back. That's awesome. So he needs to get the Xbox mini fridge on his desk like I have, because I can just literally open my little mini fridge and got beers right there.
I'm so jealous of you. Real quick, while Greg is going and fetching a drink, you can catch our show at youtube.com/thegeekiverse. Obviously, listen to it on podcast services around the globe, and our website over at thegeekiverse.com. I can't wait to see what he comes back with. All right.
Very excited. There he is. I told Josiah, I'm like, there's a chance we pitch this and Greg comes back with a beer. It happened. I'm so pumped.
I want you to know that you saw very much two different Gregs there. You saw Greg Miller run away in probably January 2021 fashion, then get to the top of the stairs and remember he's Greg Miller 2022, and there's probably a sleeping baby up there. And I was like,
oh no.
I did like the tiptoe barefoot all the way to the kitchen and all the way back.
Jen, we're so sorry.
I was going to say, I'm going to be on text message watch for a second to see if I get you son of a bitch.
You've been great all day. We ruined it.
Well, all right, John, why don't we go to you first? What is about to be in your system?
Sounds good. So this one is this is not local from Buffalo, but it's from Rochester, so very close. This is a brewery called Fifth Frame. They make awesome stuff, lots of different sours, IPAs. This one's called Slater. I assume this is a reference to a TV show, Saved by the Bell.
AC Slater, yeah, that's got the right color.
Probably makes sense. That's a little before my time. I'm sure it was in syndication, but I was watching Boy Meets World. So sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Boy Meets World was my jam.
Okay,
so this
fine.
is what
We're
I
on the
got.
same page then.
Okay, awesome. So this is a West Coast IPA, my favorite beer style right now. Super excited.
John, as you know, I've been on the other half kick. I just can't stop. I've got the Mosaic Motueka. So double dry hop, dual hop Imperial IPA. Say that 5 times fast. 8.5% hazy IPA. Very much into that. Greg, what did you just go get?
I ran upstairs and got my final Revision Brewing Company.
Ooh. Tahoe Haze.
Tahoe Haze, yeah, it's a hazy IPA, a Northeast hazy IPA. I'm huge on hazy IPAs. It's pretty much all I drink right now. Out of
We're
Nevada,
Northeast.
representing the one and only Snowbike Mike, of course.
That would be-
I had sent him a photo when I got originally, and he was like, "My people approve of that." Like he had somebody who drinks beer because he just drinks chai lattes and margaritas. So whoever he was talking to said that was an okay beer. So I'm good.
That's all. That can art's great. That'd be one I'd be in the beer shop like just by the art alone and the style.
That's the
it.
thing,
I'll grab
SF
that.
is so great at having a bunch of different local shops that carry different beers, and so I
Sure.
love going in and finding just random cans and stuff and trying new breweries.
That's what this segment's about. Just finding something at the shop and bringing it in. Also went with a themed glass today. We got Pokemon Arceus launching, so I got my little Pikachu glass.
Got my
couple
Iron
little things
Man
on the side
Iron
there.
Gauntlet there.
I'm not gonna
Awesome.
run upstairs and get a cup.
Don't do that.
The show will never
Joe,
go anywhere.
Cheers, gentlemen. Thank you so
Cheers,
much.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, that takes us to our next segment here. We do a little thing. John and I rotate every week. We call it Show and Tell. We just bring something to the show that we find interesting that's typically tied to video games. John's got a really nice one here for what is actually, it's a mini milestone for us. It's our 10th episode, right? A baker's dozen, if you will.
There you go. There you go.
So, John, what do you got to bring to the table today?
Yeah, so show and tell is fun. It can be something that's like evergreen. We just want to talk about this to spark a cool conversation, or sometimes it's like a new accessory we got. Last week Joe showed off his purple DualSense, stuff like that. Mine is something that I knew was going to make an appearance on this show at some point because it's very special to me. I just didn't know when the right time was, and it turns out there's no better time. So this is my Aqua Blue PlayStation Vita. And the talking point that I'm going with here, we're not going to go down the road that we should talk about the Vita. This thing was great. It was before its time. We missed the boat. You guys screwed it up. Who screwed it up? Not me. I bought the OLED. I was there day one. Yeah. You guys all screwed it up.
Barrett Courtney screwed it up. All right, Barrett Courtney screwed it up, and then he wants to complain that the thing ate a save. Well, you should have been there when the Vita needed you.
Right. Not buying these secondhand Vitas from Applebee's or whatever.
Yeah. Who knows where that? It does. You hear the V's upside down. It's not even a Vita.
No clue. The reason this Vita is important is because it's the Aqua Blue, but it's also got a little splash of pink on the back. That pink comes from
my signature.
There's Greg Miller.
Did you put clear nail polish on it, or did you not need to?
I didn't need to. This thing has been holding up great.
Wow,
it's awesome. So that's my anecdote. So this is the first time
I obviously don't remember signing it, right? But what I do remember looking at it is those were the best markers I ever had for signing stuff. They were liquid paint Sharpies. I had a pink one and I had a blue one, kind of funny pink, kind of funny blue, and they never rubbed off. Whereas like a regular Sharpie rubs off all the time. I even bought like a back screen protector just in case like anything ever happened. Sure. It's just been flawless. So, but yeah, so the story there. So the first time we met, so we're in Buffalo, New York. You guys came to EGLX for the first time in 2018. I had never heard of that show. That I just knew about it because you guys were promoting it. Sure.
So, and you guys don't come to Buffalo like anywhere near Buffalo.
No, we don't.
It's up in the corner of Northeast. What's the point of coming here? So Toronto's
my favorite was when Ryan Clements, a Buffalo native, was getting married, and he was like, "I'm gonna have it up in Buffalo." We're like, "Oh, great, well, I'll come." And the closer we got, we're like, "It's really expensive to go to Buffalo." Like this is when we're at IGN making like nobody. We're like, this is expensive.
Right. I mean, it's basically New York City from you guys. Yeah. So my wife and I were like, we got to go. Like they're coming super close to us. Toronto is about a 2-hour drive from Buffalo. So like, all right, we're doing the trip. We're gonna make it happen. We bought tickets. We're spending the whole weekend there. Got a hotel. So we get in the car, driving to Toronto, and as I do when I get into a car, I throw a podcast on. Sure. Usually a Kind of Funny podcast. So it happened. I was a few episodes behind the Kind of Funny podcast, and it happened to be an episode was just you and Nick. It was just a one-on-one. You guys were shooting the shit. It was back, October 2018. So if you want to go sleuth that up, internet people, find what episode it was, whatever. But so that just happened to be on. So my entire ride to
is just giving the Twitch chat work. Just I didn't do any of my research. Go find it and tell us.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, it's irrelevant. It's just that So the point is, I'm driving with my wife, and throughout that entire 2 hours, all I have on is Greg and Nick. And oddly enough, you two were the ones that were coming to represent Kind of Funny at the show.
This is the one where he jokes Ghostbusters too, right?
It is, absolutely. So we get there, park the car, check in the hotel, got our bags, and we turn around. And who do we see standing in the hotel lobby? Greg and Nick. And I am just frozen. And like, first of all, the fact that meeting you for the first time, awesome. But I just listened to just the two of you in my car for 2 hours. It was just this crazy, surreal experience. And yes, they were dressed head to toe in Ghostbusters gear. So it was so awesome. I had just made a beeline over to you guys, and I don't remember any of that conversation because
I was going to say, were we assholes? We're like, fuck off, kid. We're not on the clock.
No. You guys are awesome. You guys were very clearly like making your plan to go down to the convention because the hotel is connected to the convention.
I vaguely remember that.
Shoot over real quick. Yeah, so we I just couldn't believe, like, just spent 2 hours listening to you guys, and you're right there. So yeah, we talked a little bit. That was the first time I'd ever experienced, like, you hear the expression, your legs turn to jello. We got in the hotel elevator after speaking to you, and my legs were literally shaking, and it was just so unexpected. Like, I was expecting to, like,
totally.
have some time to prepare to, like, I'll prepare to meet Greg and Nick. It's gonna be great. I just whip around, and you guys are there dressed as Ghostbusters. So, like,
Yeah, I
that's
think that's that's how you have some when you're doing something like this, you have in your head how it's going to go. And like you can imagine a meet and greet line, you can imagine after a podcast, you can imagine asking a question and I make you chug a Smirnoff Ice or something. They've asked me stop doing. But yeah, like when you're not ready for it, right? When you're not psyched up for it, when you're not in that headspace, that's tough. Especially when you're going from real life of driving, doing this, checking in. Do we have the card? I need the ID. Where is it? Oh, they're the people we're here to see. The people we're here to see are right in the lobby. What do I do? Am I intruding? Am I not intruding? I don't know.
for sure.
Well,
So that's the story of this Blue Vita.
Love it.
Thank you, everyone. If you're watching live on Kind of Funny Twitch or watching the syndicated episode eventually on youtube.com/the Geekiverse or podcast services around the globe. Another segment on Busy Sticks here for the Geekiverse. We already talked about beer, but what are we playing? What's in our system? So what's got your attention these days? Greg, I'm going to go to you first because you got a lot going on. You're a new dad. You've got Kind of Funny, the Empire here. What are you playing?
Well, I'm playing Dying Light 2, Stay Human, which is a redacted review that I can't talk about. You can find out on the Gamescast next week what I think of that. I have Horizon Forbidden West on my PlayStation 5. That is a redacted review that you can find out about in the coming February 14th on the Kind of Funny Gamescast. So now I'm looking at my PSN profile to look back and see what's the last thing. I kicked the tires on Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. I booted it up to try to get the trophies. Got duped thinking I got a platinum. Turns out there's one platinum for this. I was pissed off about that. But then I restarted Lost Legacy because I played Lost Legacy and never platinumed it. And I remember coming off of it, not cold by any stretch of the imagination, but not in love with it. So I restarted that and gave that a night when I got the first code before I had the other reviews roll in and enjoy it, man. Like, you forget how good Uncharted is and how good Naughty Dog is at making those kind of games and making those kind of character pieces. Because I played it, I would say not like extensively, but all the way up through meeting the main villain and then getting away. So you get, Chloe and Nadine getting united, their characters playing off of each other, getting to explore that world, see the detail on it, let alone what it looks like in 4K now and all that stuff. Just gorgeous. And then beyond that, last thing I was doing a lot of was Rainbow Six Extraction. Played that with Mike and Andy, and gave it a couple nights. Played on my own too. I was taken aback by liking that. I didn't expect to really click with that. I know Siege obviously is so beloved by its community, but when they announced Extraction Quarantine at the time, I wasn't like, oh, that's something I gotta play. I had definitely, even at the time, I think at the announcement's been like, oh, I'm way more into Back 4 Blood, but Back 4 Blood dropped while I was having a baby. And then when I came back and said, hey, Snowbike Mike, let's play Back 4 Blood. He's like, why? Why would we do that? Like, oh, okay, well, then let's not do that. We'll do this. And then on top of that, I guess I played Monopoly. We'll play a lot of Monopoly with Mike on stream this week. And I was very happy.
I'm excited to watch that first stream. I missed that, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, don't listen to Mike, all right? And just get ready because the stupid chat had to apologize to me, and I love it when they do that. You know what I mean? These these troglodytes on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames doubting my Monopoly skills as I then clown out them. What about you guys? What have you been playing?
Greg, you've got a good mix there. That's pretty good. Uncharted is what I'm booting up tonight when we're done here. I can't wait to get back into that. I love both games. Like Uncharted, we were talking about it in our group chat today. It's a top 10, if not top 5 franchise for me when it comes to games in general. Like just very special. So that'll tide me over for a bit. Obviously, we're waiting for Horizon. We're not special like you, so we've got to get there. Very cool. That's one of John's most anticipated games. It's on a lot of lists, obviously. I just finished last week 2 games. So first, kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. Resident Evil 7. Okay. As I'm trying to get to Village, so I'm behind the times there. Holy crap, that's a scary game. First person is quite the experience for me. Can't imagine anyone who does VR when it comes to Resident Evil.
That was the jam. That was the jam.
Maybe one day, and then I'll have a heart attack. And then Life is Strange: True Colors.
Nice. Do you like it?
So, oh my gosh, dude. So John, all about that game. He's like, you have to play it. You have to play it. I finally got around to it. Of course, I platinumed it. That's an easy one. that is a game that is special for a number of reasons. To me, as I told John, I can't believe how fast I fell in love with those characters despite not having like an established lore before. It's not like you're throwing me into Marvel or Star Wars where I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you because you exist. Like the writing is masterful. The setting in Haven is just beautiful. I thought it was I had not really connected with Life is Strange in the past as I wanted to. This one I could not get enough of. Could not get enough.
I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear that. You know, yeah, I was banging the drum pretty loud there for Game of the Year and just in general how great Life is Strange True Colors is. So that's great to hear. Yeah, I think Alex Chen's such an awesome character. Again, I think at a first pitch level, you know, especially even if you're not into it, but coming off the other Life is Stranges where the superpower is time travel and, you know, telekinesis, and this one is empathy. I'm an empath. Like your Mantis? That doesn't sound that interesting for a standalone game. And the way they use it to, you know, really enhance the mechanics and conversation mechanics of Life is Strange, I think so well done, let alone how alive the town is, the relationships you have with Steph, with Gabe, with, you know, the bartender whose name escapes me right now. Like, just amazing.
It's just a beautiful thing. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Right. I was just gonna say it's a game about story, right? It's a narrative game. It's a Life is Strange game, and the superpower is to get you more story. You're an empath. You get to, you know, get in somebody's mind, or you get to trigger a memory based on emotion. So you just get more narrative with it. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Joe. As I didn't click with the other Life is Strange games. The writing was just a little too on the nose, a little too campy for me. So I always and honestly, I think the fact that they released episodically also was a hindrance for me. It's like I'll play the first one. Second one was like, okay, I dig that a little bit, but like by the time episode 3 comes around, I'm like, I don't have too much motivation to get back to it. So
especially with the amount of time between them, right? And then you get into like how Telltale was doing stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Right, no doubt. So this one comes around and like, you know, the music is what got me. Like just the music. I'm like, all right, this game is going to be my vibe just based on like the title soundtrack alone. Like I know this is going somewhere I want to be. So it was my game of the year.
Hell yeah, a man of taste over here, folks.
Yeah, I love like the episodic format when it comes to Telltale games back in the day, but this I think really vibed for me because I could play it all at once, and that was important with the consistency. And I couldn't put it down. Very impressed with what they did with that.
It's interesting to watch that kind of stuff ebb and flow, right? Because I mean, I was there as Telltale took off, and we, you know, were reviewing these games episode by episode, and like. At the time, it made so much sense because it kept them in the conversation for so long, right? Where it was you were on top of IGN's front page for so long because it'd be 2 months later, new episode, then another 2 months, 3 months, 4 months to start slipping. But there was like a hype to it, and I think that it was just a hallmark of I know it sounds ridiculous because it wasn't that long ago, but a different time in games where there just wasn't that much stuff coming out. Whereas now, like. It's trying to drink from a fire hose, right? Like, I mean, especially right now, right? Where I have Pokemon downloaded, and I sat down today. The first thing I did was boot it up and start downloading. I'm not going to get to touch Pokemon for quite some time, but that's, woe is me kind of problem. But that's everybody right now. There's so much to play right now that, yeah, if you're going to put out episodes, like, how can you keep track of what was what? And Tell Me Why, right? The one before this from them, or from. This is Deck 9. That was Don't Nod. Thank you so much. They were still keeping episodic, but they did it all like week to week, which was a more interesting way, kind of like a TV show. It's everybody's trying to figure out what that cadence looks like, but I think they did the right call here too.
We talked about it last episode. Like every year it gets more, right? In terms of how much content is actually coming out, not even just games, but TV and movies. And in particular with games, like I feel like I always wanted to try to just play everything I possibly could so I could have an opinion on it. I could see if it was for me or not. Like that is just insanely impossible nowadays. You really got to just pick and choose what you can get to. Even like my Xbox library between games with gold over the years and Game Pass and then stuff I actually like own, it's like 647 games. It's freaking bonkers right now. Like good luck. But hey, quality over quantity, and there's actually a fair amount of quality out there. So it's a good time to be a gamer. John, what are you playing?
So if you're a listener of us, I've had the same story for the last like 3 weeks. I have just not wanted to dive into something new just because the stuff that I want it's just right over the horizon.
Isn't that the worst? Isn't that the worst? You're on the precipice and you're like, I want to play Horizon, so I don't want any of this because of that. Like that's always the worst. Like, I bought this game, I have it on the dashboard. I just don't want it.
So what I've been doing is I've just been playing some old, not even old, just I've been going through the 3D Mario games. I'm like, you know what? I haven't really given ththese a lot of attention. I played Odyssey and loved it. I've got this Mario collection. Never played 3D World. Like, I just want something to do. I just want to jump around and like hit some stuff. And I ended up falling in love with Mario 3D World. So
Nice. Great game.
100% of that. So that was a lot of fun. And now I'm into Bowser's Fury. So that's what I'm going through right now. It's just my like, I don't want to commit to something meaty and this is in my hand. I can play on the couch and stuff like that. So that's just about it. A little bit of Fortnite. They brought back Tilted Towers, so I've been diving into Fortnite, and there's a new Green Goblin skin. I might go and pick that up because I'm a sucker for the Marvel and DC skins and stuff like that.
Kevin,
so.
you buying that Green Goblin skin?
The glider, man. You got it.
Already locked it down. Are you joking?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Fortnite. All right.
I love it, Kev.
Remember, use code Kinda Funny to give us a little kickback.
All right, then we're on their podcast now. We don't have to promote our stuff. All right.
We don't have a code.
Okay.
We don't have a code.
Please, for the rest of your shows, please say if you're going to buy anything in Fortnite, use the Epic Creator Code. Kind of funny.
We'll do. So that's it for me. Actually, Pokemon Arceus, I booted up for a second. I saw the splash screen. I just wanted to make sure it downloaded, so I can do that too.
Is there any stupid update or any bullshit I'm going to like turn it on
Exactly.
to play and not have it yet?
Yeah.
Normally we dive into some news, but we're not going to do that today because we have Greg Miller. So we want to talk a little bit with questions geared towards him. So the first topic kind of I have on my mind here, Greg, at the Geekiverse, we have a sporadic show. We call it Dadcast. So I've got a 3-year-old. I've got a baby coming in T-minus 2 weeks.
Oh
really
my God,
excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And congratulations to you on being a new dad as well. I wanted to ask you, like, obviously a huge change and greatest blessing in the entire universe, by the way. But like,
I mean, I was a trendy gamer, so it's like maybe second.
well,
you know, away that stuff, you know.
So for me, biggest blessing. But like, what does life look like for you in a nutshell when it comes to balancing going back to work, playing video games? Like, it's a different dynamic.
100%. And I was talking to, I think, Blessing about it the other day, maybe somebody else though, but I think it's a welcome dynamic, honestly, because I think it's given me a regimen that I didn't have before. And I think there's obviously freedom to that, but there's also then the fact of things can get out of whack, out of balance. You know what I mean? Where I think, I was talking about this in one of the earlier podcasts this afternoon today. But, I'm tired. I wanted that podcast earlier this afternoon today. When was it, Greg? No. But, wake up in the morning like we did today at 4:45. Take care of Benjamin, get him fed. Then I'll usually take over. I take the morning shift of, tending to his needs, putting him back down for a nap eventually, so on and so forth. And then at 8, usually the nanny takes over. Today, Jen's mom did. And then I'm down to work. And then we try to end it at 5 on the dot or 5:15 at the latest. And then I'm back up there to take over from where Jen left off, because Jen works alongside me 8 to noon. Then she goes upstairs. She moms from noon to 5. Then I take back over. And then we start splitting stuff after dinner a bit more. And so before then, right, it was, of course, Jen and I are both working professionals, both with our own companies. And it is a lot of, well, this needs to be done there. That is blah, blah, blah. You're worrying about what you're going to have for dinner at 6:30 when you're already hungry. And this is happening that way. And so it's been a welcome change to kind of have it regimen and have it walled off where, I told, the team, kind of funny, like, I'm going to try to be out at 5 or 5:15 every day for right now. Obviously, when we go back to the studio, I think that'll be a little bit harder to do and different, obviously, with the commute and stuff like that. But for right now, as we get in the swing of things, and everyone's been so respectful of that, and it's worked out so great so far. And, for me, it's actually better than during the paternity leave, because during the paternity leave, it was anything goes, you know what I mean? And Jen and I are both trying to, it very well, I'm sure, Joe, like you're tossed into this situation that you have no information on how to actually, this is going to go. And like, I'm sure we were laughed at, but we were laughed at behind our backs by the nurses and doctors at the hospital. Cause Jen and I, being Jen and I, we're in the recovery room, we had to stay 2 days or 2-3 days because of the C-section. And on like the final day before we were going to leave, we both whipped out our laptops and we went into Google Sheets and we made like a daily schedule that we're like, well, this will be this and this will be that. And like, here's a free block. And like, everyone must have been like, oh, you summer children, and left the room because of course you get home and none of that. We never opened that document. Like that never happened. Right. It's a sliding scale. When's he sleeping? How much is sleeping? This is going on, blah, blah, blah. And so like, then it was like, I was I think it was I did like 2 weeks without playing anything before I finally had time to like crack it open and play. And then even then it was what was it? Oh, when I was doing Far Cry stuff, when I was trying to work on the Far Cry Platinum, it would be like I'd get into a story mission and like the cutscenes playing, and it would take me 45 minutes to get through 2 minutes of it because it'd be like start, stop, start, stop. Oh, so you need me stop, stop. But you know, all this, like this is actually given a bit more regularity to it, and obviously Benjamin being older helps with that. Of like, all right, cool. You know, we're gonna put him down between 8, right around 8, somewhere maybe under, usually over, more even towards 9, but put him down, and then Jen still goes to bed super early, so I'm back to getting like, you know, 9:30 to midnight for gaming and getting back into the or as I've been doing work as well, emails and stuff, catching up.
Dude, it's so awesome to hear that, you know, like you said, it was regimented. I think a little bit kind of the same for us. My daughter was born August 2018, so this is like right before Spider-Man PS4 comes out. One of my favorite games ever. Like, you know, could gush about it all day. But what made that game even more memorable for me is that, so my daughter Daisy was just born, and you know, she's up, she's down, she's up, just sleeping all the time. We feed her, get her back down. So my sleep was kind of all over the place. But when I was up, that's what I was doing. She's sitting on my lap. I'm like a, you know, brand new dad. This is super exciting. I'm also doing something I love, which is playing Spider-Man, which is phenomenal. And just the balance there, like it made all of that even more special. And now, so she's about 3.5. She's realizing that video games are a thing and they're fun. So like she'll look at me as I get home from work and be like, "Dad, video games?" I'll be like, "You know it, kid. Let's do it." And then we go from there.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Exactly. I'm an easy sell. So
are you giving her like the disconnected controller and all that, where she feels like she's doing something, or she's just watching?
So we've got like in our living room, we've got this cabinet. It's got a drawer that's got all my PS5, my Xbox controls, my headsets. And she just goes in and grabs them and kind of brings a headset for her, brings one for me.
Oh my God.
It's so beautiful. She brings the control over. The only problem is she knows how to turn them on. So I'll be playing it and I'll be like, wait, don't do that. So
you got to just get the ones that are like worn out, take the battery out of it, like drain it already, have it all set to go. Yeah.
There's a benefit to the Xbox controller right there with removable batteries.
Of course, that's why they did it. Phil Spencer was really thinking of you guys when he's like, you know what, here, eat the batteries.
Exactly.
That's gonna go.
Son of a it's ahead of the curve, you know.
Last night was funny. I was playing Dying Light 2 or whatever, and Benjamin was in his little bouncer, and we were, you know, you put the foot on him and keep him bouncing or whatever. And I'm playing, and Jen and I are talking, and she stop watching the game, and he's just like craning his neck back to try to get a glimpse of what I'm doing as I'm like dismembering zombies.
Well, that's the thing. Like when Daisy was first born, I felt like, hey, I can play anything I want. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm in the age where I'm like, there's certain things I probably shouldn't play around her. Yeah. So that's when, you know, she goes to bed. But man, yeah, super awesome to hear everything's going well for you.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been awesome. I think, you know, it'll be interesting. I was concerned, obviously, on the other side of it, you know, when you're talking, you know, he was born in October, when you're starting to wind things down in September, where it's just like, you know, am I going to play less games? Am I not going to be finishing more, or will I be finishing less and stuff like that? And like right now, like, again, just it forces me to have a regimen. Whereas before, I think I would have said, "Oh, I'll play, you know, Horizon during the day during a thing," but then I would have booked a call, I would have booked a podcast, I would have booked whatever. And now being very much like I'm blocking out the calendar, and I have turned down multiple things and moved things of like they want to collaborate, they want to do this week. I'm like, that's the week leading up to the embargo, so I can't. So let's move it there. And it's forcing me to think in a different way and probably do less, I would say, probably outside of Kind of Funny, but do more inside, which I like, or be better prepared, I guess, for what I do inside.
Makes sense. Yeah. Hey, super glad it's working for you. And again, like I said, huge blessing. So happy to hear that for your family. Typically, we have one question of the week where we ask the Geekiverse community question, you answer, and we talk about it on the air next week. What we thought was a good idea was to kind of bring in the few episodes worth of questions we had so far, and a little bit rapid fire those over to you, Greg.
Okay, so John, got it.
Clear it right now. Get ready.
Yeah,
get ready.
Your mind.
Don't go upstairs again.
Tough ones.
John, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. So every week we do this question of the week. Quick plug. My favorite place to ask this question has been on TikTok lately. So as you go and follow Kind of Funny Games on TikTok, also please follow the Geekiverse because I'm having a lot of fun with our TikTok as well. So I've been asking those questions there. So Greg, we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 of them. So feel free to give me a one-word answer or go into whatever you want. We've got some time left.
Have I ever been that short? Have I ever had that little to say on any podcast in the history?
Right. Some are pretty face value, whatever, but take as much time as you want. All right. So first one, we did this right at the turn of the year. Most anticipated game of 2022.
Oh, mine clear. I go Horizon. I think it's probably because it's imminent, but I think also coming off of the re-review on PS I Love You, I'm just like, man, that was such a great game. So I can't wait to see taking all those learnings and putting it into this. I could argue God of War, but I'm still not sure that's coming this year, so it makes it less exciting in a way. So I don't know about that. So I would go Horizon, but it might be an immediacy thing.
Okay, cool. Next one was right after the announcement of PSVR 2. So the question was, do you plan on diving into VR in the future if you haven't already?
Oh, I have already, obviously, but I definitely plan on diving in the future. Right now, that's the thing we talk about on PS I Love You, where it's like, man, we love PSVR. Haven't played it in well over a year, but still love it. I don't feel like I've missed a lot of great experiences. I know there's a lot of things that have come through and like little experiences and yada, yada, yada. It's just the headache of getting all the stuff reset up in a new place, let alone the fact that I'm such a unique thing of my PlayStation 5's right next to me here. My TV's over there. I move things back and forth all the time. So where am I leaving this headset? Also, I have low ceilings and it's a million different problems. But yeah, yes, I'm excited for VR 2, PlayStation VR 2.
John,
Cool.
you've got something pretty cool right next to you that we can't see on camera that you just got.
You can't. Wait, which one?
Talk about it. Xbox. You got the fridge,
yeah.
man.
So I just got. So yeah, you had to run upstairs to grab your beer. I just got the Xbox Series X mini fridge.
Oh,
which has
nice!
Been, the coolest thing ever. So walking through Target, if you follow me on TikTok, you'll find that story on there. Walking through Target and just randomly found it there, and it's so cool. It's sitting right next to the actual Series X, and it's like I couldn't believe the size difference, but it's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, super jealous.
Yeah.
Next
question.
I'm Geekiverse right now, so I can see this after the show.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next question came after we did our episode about the results from last year's Fantasy Critic games. Josiah, real quick, who won? Who was the victor last year?
Don't recall. Don't care.
You don't recall? God,
No.
I think it was me. I got back-to-back crowns, just saying. So, Greg, what do you think is going to be the most critically acclaimed game of this year?
Oh, fuck.
Right, and what does that mean, right? Like, is it the highest scoring? Is it the best? Take it for what you think.
I mean, I think I jumped to what's gonna be game of the year, like for most people, right?
Best Metacritic, whatever, however you want to filter that.
Well, that's the question. Does God of War come out? Does Zelda come out? There's a lot of heavy hitters that are potential.
Come out. Don't get the fuck out of here. Don't even waste your breath. You know what I mean?
Of the wild.
That's fine with me.
I hope I'm wrong. But come on now.
Same.
So yeah, I think it's like you're talking about God of War if it happens, Horizon. I just had Elden Ring.
Starfield also not coming out, so don't worry about that.
They were so confident they put that date on it,
Dates are great. Come on.
Dates are great. Oh my god.
We've never seen that before.
I should clarify, by the way, when I say I don't mind if Zelda slips. It's not that I don't like Zelda. It's that I want to space things out a bit.
You have enough to play this year. You don't have to really worry about another giant open world 10 out of 10 game. Yeah, I understand.
To
Exactly.
be even more clear, you didn't finish Breath of the Wild, so you kind of maybe don't care. Fake fan.
I'm just gonna go.
I think it's Horizon or Elden Ring.
Okay.
And I'll say Elden Ring.
All right. I like that. That's a good one.
Can't go wrong.
Nope. Those From Software fans really like those games. Next one. This was the biggest news story of the decade, maybe of all time, and this was a fun one. I think you guys actually asked the same question. But if Sony were to counter with a studio publisher, what's the purchase? What would you think they should do if they had to counter that sale?
Konami. I think
Konami?
If you had to in this universe, you have to make a move. I'd go Konami and be like, we got Kojima on to talk about more Metal Gear. He's gonna oversee Silent Hills, whatever. Like we're Castlevania's back. We're gonna put out there'd be so much stuff you could get in there that would really be like, if you did it right. And that's been the big thing. And maybe you don't even go the Kojima route, right? Where it's like, Naughty Dog is making a Metal Gear and Kojima's gonna, consult on it or something like that. Like it gets super exciting when you start tossing that kind of stuff out there.
Didn't even think that would be possible. Yeah, same here. Those are words I didn't expect to hear.
Well, for the record, awesome. It's not possible. This isn't happening. But you said if I had to counter,
of course it's not. Yeah. Sony doesn't have Microsoft money. They can't go out buying $70 billion studios. So Not gonna happen. Last question. This was from our most recent show, from the most recent news story. I know you're not the biggest Star Wars guy, but give it a shot. What do you want to see in the Respawn first-person shooter Star Wars game?
Oh, interesting.
Our angle there was like, what time period, who would you like it to star, stuff like that. Again, I know you're not the biggest Star Wars guy, but
Sure. No, I mean, it still makes sense, right? I mean, I jump to Mandalorian. Like, I would think it'd be cool to extend that universe out, right, and do more and have it be Pedro Pascal, right, and whatever we're often doing. But like, we're doing the shooting, the grappling, the flying. I know that could easily pivot to being a Boba Fett game, which so many people want to. That would work as well. But I think that's the way you go for a shooter. I think we've all been with Battlefront enough of a stormtrooper, right? Like, I'm not even the biggest, like you said, Star Wars fan, but it's like I feel like we got our fill of being stormtroopers and running around, and like I think there'd be a fun story to tell there. So many people want to be that bounty hunter. So many people want to be a Mandalorian.
no
I
doubt.
thought it was interesting that people were, I mean, I never say never, but they're like, oh man, this means Battlefront 3 is not coming. And like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so you could be like, hey, we're doing anything Star Wars, and I would literally play it, good or bad. But if it was Battlefront 3, like, what do you do with that game? Like, say what you want about Battlefront 2, but that was a pretty deep game, especially by the end of that run, if you will. There's just about everything that you could possibly want in a Star Wars fantasy, so to speak. So I don't know. It's exciting times to see that Respawn is handling these. I mean, my gosh, what more could you want there?
This is a company that is built on first-person shooters. I mean, talk about Titanfall and Apex Legends, like that's what they do. So regardless of the setting, it's going to play well.
For sure. I like the Mandalorian approach. I think that's the way to go. I would agree
Well,
with
we
that.
just saw that Star Wars 1313 footage, and again, like you're talking about, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but like, God, that looked great. That would have been a fun game,
right?
Man, so crazy to have the high of having that announced, and then like a year later, they were like, "Oh, this is not happening." So tough times, but hey, it's okay. We got a lot of Star Wars on the horizon here. It would not be an opportunity for us to talk with Greg if we didn't talk about, and have we mentioned we're from Buffalo? Like,
I was going to say, when's the wing conversation start? Where am I? How good is the Anchor Bar? Is it really as good as people say it is? Is that what you're swearing by?
No, it is not. So you predicted it. The question is definitely about chicken wings. So Greg, I'll give you some tiers to the chicken wings in Buffalo.
Thank you
Anchor Bar is not the tourist trap. It is. They don't really have great wings at all. You go to Anchor Bar because you're Greg Miller. They're fine.
Listen,
no,
we're so spoiled that even like the 15th or 20th best wing is still pretty freaking good, you know?
Which is great, which is fine, but there's so many better options, right? I'm not being a Wingstop. I'm just saying, for Greg Miller, you go to Anchor Bar because you love chicken wings and you want to see where it started, right? You want to go to the original. So you definitely visit Anchor Bar, no doubt. You buy a t-shirt and grab some of the hot sauce, and it's a fun experience. I would say the Portillo to chicken wings is probably going to be Duff's. That is the one
I've heard
that,
a lot of good thing about Duff's.
Duff's is good. There are certainly a lot better wing spots around here. If you talk to the wing snobs around here, they're going to say Duff's is bad. Just like I'm sure if you ask, your
you're getting your hot dogs at Portillo's. There's no Gene and Jude's, Wiener Circle, these little one-off things. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of those are the two nationwide people know. Is that Anchor Bar? Okay, they invented them. The wings are fine. Duff's people recommend is like, maybe the best wing in Buffalo. It's really good, but there's a dozen better options. So that's really all I wanted to talk about in terms of our
what
local
is the
places.
Best? Where do you go? Like, where do you go consistently?
So there's a lot of them. So in honor of today,
Google Chrome right now. I want to start looking.
So in honor of today, I had wings for lunch, and I'm making a day in the life TikTok about this experience, and that'll be on there as well.
Did you do the same thing where like you came back 4 hours later and like the wings were half eaten? You're like, fuck, I didn't finish eating them.
They were so hot.
I did not do that. I was focused enough to eat my wings today. So my favorite spot right now is a place called Elmo's. Very small bar here in
Tim
Western
Towles
New York.
Agrees with you in the chat. He already said that before you even.
Did he say Elmo's?
Yeah,
Elmo's. So if you're coming here and you're just looking for the traditional hot buffalo wing, Elmo's is not the place to go. There's better options for that, but Elmo's has the best sauces and they do flavors the best. So they've got a whole selection of sauces and they do something called double dip. So you pick two sauces, combine them. Their Cajun honey mustard is just absolutely killer. That's my jam.
Okay.
Joe, what's your favorite? Where do you go?
Man, so I like Anchor Bar and Duff's more than John does. I'm not going to turn my back on our Buffalo heritage like that. I also like. I've not had Elmo's. It's embarrassing. I'm 31 years old.
Been here my whole life. What are you doing?
It's again. I'm gonna go.
We're doing Elmo's. We're doing Elmo's soon.
Okay, that's how we're gonna celebrate all of this. Bar Bill, I like. They're They're
Man,
gonna
you know it. You know it's gonna be good when Elmo's typeface is this bad. There's an American flag across the top of the banner, and then it's like the most simple menu of all time, where they're just like fish fry, Fridays only, whatever. Flip it over, wings, single, double, triple. Oh, beer wings.
Yep. Yes. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh my, beer wing special. A double order of wings and pitcher of Labatt Blue or Bud Light. Fuck yeah, I want to party at Elmo's. God
that's the
damn,
most
do I want to
Buffalo
party
thing I've
at
ever heard
Elmo's.
in my life.
I'm
Bill's
sending this to the
Mafia.
owner of Elmo's.
Yeah. So Bar Bill, I like. This is not traditionally where I go, but they have like this Cajun dry rub that, ironically, I had with Tim Tales in the chat. So we went there, and really good stuff. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You really can't.
So Bar Bill would be my answer for if you want the traditional buffalo style wing, like a hot wing. Go to Bar Bill. That's
Okay.
the one. They are the most consistent. They're super crispy. They hand sauce all of their wings. They've been at this for years. Like Bar Bill is I think top of the top when it comes to the buffalo wing.
I don't know about you. I'm getting really hungry right now.
God, I'm
my God.
starving. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
I'm
believe
sorry to do this to you at this time for you.
Hey, no, I'm literally leaving, and Jen was like, "Do you want to go to this place for dinner?" I'm like, "Yes," and I think they have wings, so don't worry, we're all set.
Awesome.
Gotta love it. Well, I mean, honestly, hey, we're about to wrap things up here. Wings that's a good final discussion. That's really the third pillar here. You got beer, you got video game, you got chicken wings. Come on,
Nailed it. This is
Nailed
a
it.
delicious show.
Just exactly. So again, thank you for tuning in here on Kind of Funny's Twitch channel. We are Busy Sticks, Josiah and John from the Geekiverse. We have fun doing exactly what we did here tonight. But tonight was definitely a little more fun because we had Greg Miller on our show on his channel. Just freaking awesome, man. So we're very grateful to have had the opportunity. Thank you to Kind of Funny. Thank you to the Kind of Funny patrons for making this happen. By the way, this awesome community day. Hopefully you found some amazing new podcasts across just all the different topics that were discussed. Very exciting. And Kind of Funny is going to be doing more of that shortly as well. Geekiverse, you can find at youtube.com/the Geekiverse on podcast services, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as our website at thegeekiverse.com. John, I'm going to pass it over to you. Where can people find you on social media and anything else that we should tease that we're talking about?
Yeah, so I'm on all social medias at Disruptoid. You'll find me there. You probably see me in the Kind of Funny Twitch chat there all the time. So I'm there across the board. Here at the Geekiverse, we've been doing Star Wars review. So we've been watching all the Star Wars movies and reviewing them. Super unique idea. We made it up ourselves. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. We're about to do the Phantom Menace. We're going in chronological order. So if you want an excuse to rewatch Star Wars, we got one for you. Come hang out with us. It's been a blasty blast.
Yeah, to say the least. You can find me on social media at Josiah D. Leroy. If you're on Xbox and PlayStation, want to add me and play some games, the name there is I am Brosiah. Thank you to my sister for coining that term. So
Good
Greg, I appreciate that. Last thing I want to mention here before I forget it, because it's fitting, because it's the end of the show here. I play the drums. Kind of have done that on the side for my whole life. You guys, back in the IGN days, Podcast Beyond did play one of my songs at the very end.
No shit, that's awesome.
Not going to ever in a million years expect you to remember it. But a pop punk song. I was in a band many years ago now called the Daydream Chronicles. It was great because you and Colin read my name, and I don't remember what else happened, but you went Josiah Leroy, just like that. And it kind of stuck. So good stuff.
What was the song?
I couldn't. Oh, Add It Again. It was called Add It Again. And I want to say you guys compared it to Newfound Glory, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God. I find it anywhere online to listen to?
YouTube.
Yeah, actually, it's around still. We haven't been a band for a few years, but it's there.
It's still on
Add It
Spotify.
Again. I'm on Boom Play. Add It Again. Add It Again.
That's awesome.
Greg, I
know on the drums. You're fucking going.
Trevor, I hope you're watching, man.
Yeah, Trevor, that's
this shit still slaps.
Yeah, hey, that's the best compliment I could receive. Much appreciated.
Do you guys still play or no? Is that over with? Sorry,
no, all good. I still dabble here and there. Geekiverse, we held a charity event in December. We raised, we did an all-day stream. Really awesome day. We ended up raising $6,000 for Make-A-Wish Foundation, Western New York. One of the perks there was when we hit a certain level, I would do a drum cover. And I did a drum video to Black Panther's Pray For Me, Kendrick Lamar. So okay. I'd appreciate if you guys check that out. Again, youtube.com/thegeekiverse. That's all I do for drumming nowadays. Mostly this is what I do. So
Oh, you
yeah.
fucking buried the lead. Everybody, it's on Spotify. I'm on it right now. The Daydream Chronicles. They got a
Say
little
that.
wolf. They got a little wolf added again here. There it is. I'm favoriting the song.
Look at
Look
that.
at that.
That's awesome.
It lives.
Apple
It
Music too.
lives. Yeah, what's funny, Greg, is that, so I had submitted the song to you guys. I think it was like 2014, and I didn't know that it had hit because I hadn't heard that week's episode yet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I got a YouTube notification of 2 or 3 people who just said "Beyond" right in the comments. I'm like, I did it. So good stuff, Greg. Thank you to you, the community, the company. Can't tell you. We're not just saying this to blow smoke. Really, really, really means a lot to us. For someone we look up to, for someone that this is kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity to have this conversation, and it meant, I'm sure, just as much to everyone else who podcasted today. So thanks for allowing this to happen. Thanks for being you, and just for all you do, man. We really appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys for being such a dedicated, kind of funny best friends, and congratulations on all these episodes of the podcast. 10 episodes, come on now.
Yeah.
And I'll be listening to the Daydream Chronicles. You set my weekend to music. I'll be out there grinding trophies and dying light. Listen to this. That's you right there. You know it.
Awesome.
Oh, man. Well, you made our day. Salve, everybody. For Greg Miller, for John Fick, I'm Josiah Leroy. We will catch you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.